Hello and welcome, Million Mom Movement family. My name is Carmela Velarde, and I'm really excited to be here with you all today as a council member for the Million Mom for the past 3 years. I'm joined by my members, Neva Flore and Michelle Ricci. Taz Ferreira is not with us today. We are committed to looking for 1,000 caregivers in 100 communities to impact 10 families' lives each with our lifestyle. And we are the activism arm of the organic superfood manufacturing company called Purium, which stands for pure and premium. And it was started by our formulator and farmer, David Sandoval, and the co-founder, Amy Venner, who also created and supported the Million Mom movement. And we address the root cause with food as medicine. And this is by focusing on gut health and absorption through our organic alkaline superfood lifestyle.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay. So this lifestyle personally affected me very deeply because I had a history of long-term leaky gut and autoimmune, and I've been able to transition out of those and reverse those diagnoses. And with so much nourishment and understanding of nutrition in this process, it's really transformed my team as well. I've been building with Purium. This is my 9-year anniversary. And I'm proud to make a profound difference in people's lives with nutrition as the focus for health and wellness. I have had 2 decades of transformational health coaching and body work in my past, and I just love focusing on nutrition because it can and should affect everyone when this lifestyle is introduced. And I feel the collective consciousness is really moving towards the connection of disease and nutrition, and this is what we are bringing to you today. I had formerly had a wellness center, and I found the need to create community. And with the Million Mom, I found that true nutrition education, aside from the defunct way we're teaching nutrition outside of our philosophies, really requires us to share stories. So that's what we get to do today. We have 2 really wonderful guests talking today about menopause, Anjanette Braden and Michelle Ricci. And then we're going to bring on a testimonial, Alexis Clark, who's really going to focus in on how long-term dietary changes has affected her, also with her women's health. So I'm going to pass it over now to Neva Flore in Hawaii, and she's been on our council, and she also helps with the PEEPS scholarships. You might see her in the community a lot with that. She's doing an incredible job. So everyone just give her a big heart and hug for doing what she's doing for our company. And please, Naiva, share with us the in the news piece that is connected to our topic today.
Thank you so much, Carmela. Yes, this is so important. Health overall for all of us, but women's health, especially when we get to that time in our lives, it's really important that we take care of ourselves with our health. So here we have a news article, which is focusing on the diets for best gut and hormone satiety. So vegan diets are best for gut hormones and satiety, according to this news study. And here you'll see this beautiful picture of these vegan burgers that make men feel fuller longer than the beef burgers, and of course women as well. So, going plant-based doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to feel hungry all the time. It just means that you're going to be getting more nutrition from the food that you eat. It's going to be easier to digest and you'll feel fuller longer. So this study was published by the journal Nutrients, finds that a vegan diet helps to promote beneficial gut hormones that are responsible for regulating blood sugar, satiety, and weight. Researchers compared a vegan meal consisting of a veggie burger to a beef cheeseburger on hormone levels in a group of 60 men, 20 with obesity issues, 20 with type 2 diabetes, and 20 who were healthy. The meals contain the same amount of calories and ratio of micronutrients. So across all 3 groups, the vegan meal increased beneficial gastrointestinal hormones compared with a non-vegan meal. These hormones are involved in the regulation of glucose metabolism, insulin secretion, energy homeostasis, satiety, as well as weight management. So these beneficial gut hormones can help keep weight down, enhance insulin secretion, regulate blood sugar, and keep us feeling fuller longer. So this is something so important to take into mind, because we're really leaning towards encouraging people to become more plant-based through our ultimate lifestyle transformation. And often we think we're going to be hungry because we're going plant-based, or that we can't eat as many foods. We can still make, vegan or raw foods super delicious and tasty and it's a lot healthier. So in the United States, more than 2 in 3 adults are overweight or obese, while more than 114 million adults have either diabetes or prediabetes. Previous studies have showed that plant-based diets are beneficial for weight loss, and that those following a plant-based diet have approximately half the risk of developing diabetes compared to non-vegetarians. So this study is really great. We'll go ahead and drop this link in the comments for you to be able to read it on your own and share it with your community. Thank you so much, Carmela. Passing it back to you.
Thank you so much. That was a great article, and Michelle and I had looked at that together, and it was really exciting to bring things that you can share on that validates our lifestyle. So please use these tools. Okay, so let's get into it. So menopause and peri-menopause. More than 1 million women in the United States experience this each year, and I think there's even more. Still little is known about the health effects of this natural biological occurrence. Half the battle is knowing where to direct your menopause nutrition efforts in the world, right? Like, what is it that we need to focus on in order to help bring these symptoms down or balance them? And everyone out there seems to be an expert about hormone health. Well, hormones play a vital role for our health, and they communicate messages which tell our bodies how to develop and how to keep bodily processes on track. Hormones influence our metabolism, our libido, weight, and even the way we handle our stress. So given the importance of all of those and the havoc that can result if they get out of balance, it pays to ensure that we utilize our diet and our lifestyle to support them for optimal health and vitality. There are about 50 different hormones circulating in the human body, and they all have a very important function. So let's define a little bit more. Menopause marks a point in time 12 months after a woman's last period. The years leading up to when a woman stops menstruating are collectively called this menopausal transition. It's also known as perimenopause. So some people may not know that that's its own category of time. Hormone levels vary greatly during this transitional time, and women may experience a range of unpleasant symptoms such as hot flashes, weight gain, sleep problems, and many more things. This transition can be perceived as also a major midlife event for women, usually beginning around the ages of 45, which is the age I'm at now, so which is why I'm kind of excited to dive into this and hear more stories. We're all learning together, and it goes up until about 55 or later, about 15 years also can be. And it's lasting for about, 15 years. So in these 3 phases of the feminine, which we call the maiden, the mother, and the crone, menopause ushers a woman into that crone phase where we no longer have our periods and children, but it doesn't have to be difficult, and it doesn't have to be painful. So wouldn't you like to know how Purium is? Well, with some investigation, we learned that the FSH test, it's an FSH test, it measures menopause levels. So the pituitary gland makes FSH, which are the follicle stimulating hormones. And with puberty, they're about 0.3 to 10. And at the menstrual time, we're at about 4.7 to 21.5. And menopause is signaled after 30 or above. Okay, so today we get to share about menopause health for women with 2 very special guests and leaders in our community. And the first one I'm going to be calling on today, she is a mom of 4 in California. I got to speak with her in depth last night. She's a lovely woman in our Million Mom Movement community. Her name is Anjanette Braden. And her story, if you wouldn't mind coming on, Angie, is her share on how her dietary damage really led her into menopause in a difficult way. I'll ask you to mute, Angie.
All righty. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Thanks so much, Carmela, for letting me share on this amazing platform of Million Mom. I love this community and just how they educate on so many different levels. And what I wish Carmela asked me to share on is because I actually found Purium at 52 2 years ago, and I was postmenopausal. I really didn't find Purium in dealing with my own menopause issues. I was actually found it in trying to help my husband with some health issues he was having, and my mom, who has dementia. But I got to my first encounter with Purium was with my amazing friend Grace and Taz, who is part of this Million Moms Council. And in talking with her, I found out not only could I get the help through nutrition for my husband and my mom, but they had products that could lessen, if not truly support me and my postmenopausal symptoms, which were, by all standards, really bad. I had my menopause started at 46. I'm now 54. And the things I experienced was not so much mood changes, but really, really bad, like night terror sweats and just headaches and not being able to sleep. I was sleeping an average of maybe 2 to 3 hours a night. And the hot flashes were incredible. They weren't just happening at night. They were happening all throughout the day and then heightened at night to where I was having to go to bed literally with cold packs, that you get for like injuries under my body, and to just be able to try and sleep comfortably. And then, as I said, talking with Taz, I found out that not only through our ultimate lifestyle transformation, I could get the nutrition that my body was probably lacking, especially at this stage of my life, being on the traditional American diet most of my adult life. And also, if not, eliminate and help support my hot flashes. Well, what I found is, in talking with her, it was a no-brainer. I didn't even discuss it with my husband briefly. We ordered the products. She also told me that some other products that could help support what I was needing help with was our white ginseng, ionic elements, and of course the combined with our apothecary that we take at night anyway for healthy sleep, and that does help support our hormones. Well, within 3 days of starting my ultimate lifestyle transformation and adding the apothecary and the ionic and the white American ginseng to my regimen, my hot flashes, I didn't have them. They were like, I was able to sleep. I just remember almost crying because I actually had the most amazing night's sleep. I didn't have hot flashes. I slept like a baby, and it's now been almost 2 years next month. And I sleep amazing. And some of the benefits I have found in supporting my health is I have more energy at 54 than my 30 and 26-year-old daughters. I exercise daily. I have and one thing that, being postmenopausal or going through menopause is you're not supposed to be able to lose weight. Actually, they'll say because of the hormone changes, you'll gain weight. And that's what I found with a lot of the over-counter things is I actually gained weight. Mm-hmm. But with the support I received through Purium, I've lost weight. I've maintained my weight. I don't have the bloating. I sleep amazing. And I don't have the severe, any kind of, let me put it this way. My family tell me I'm not mean or anything to me anymore. Like most women have that incredible, their moods can change. And I haven't had any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Angie, let's just share people the timeline just so that people have an idea, because I'm about to go into menopause. And so like you'd started around the age of 46. And prior to that, let's get into like how your lifestyle was. Were you sick? Were you diagnosed? Did you take any medication?
Yeah,
How were
no, I wasn't really on any kind of medication or anything. I had tried a lot of over-the-counter things, but I was, we had just started probably to go into a organic plant-based lifestyle, and kind of noticed some health changes that way, but it still was having the hot flashes and different things like that. And that started about 46 with the hot flashes.
Yeah, and you just started getting into the organic diet, and with the help of your husband. I know he's got a different
Yes.
story that we talked about, but I know that when you first started, you were you had some hypothyroidism, like low thyroid. You were anemic since a young age,
Yes.
and I'd asked you, did you ever look into leaky gut? Because I find that that's a large connection with anemia. And we were talking also then about how you had 4 children and how a lot of the signs that you researched and read about, because you had been in menopause for quite so many years before you'd found
Yes.
Purium. What did you find, and was it misleading?
What they were saying is that actually the more children you had, the longer you would be, and actually the more severe menopause could be, with mood changes, weight gain, just all the symptoms that go with menopause and going through that life change could be heightened depending on how many children you had. But once I felt Purium, it literally like squashed it all, because like, and I feel, like I said, I have more energy than I ever had, and just to making a few small changes, what has been amazing for me.
I love that you just trusted this process. And what you shared was, yes, this is what most people might hear if they're in this phase. And I would just want people to know that when you're told that this is just how genetics are, or this is what happens when, they're not really going into the science of the physiological body and functional medicine through food. So when you switched into that and really went organic, you saw the difference. And then you found Purium just 2 years ago. So talk to me how that's been so far for you as a lifestyle the past 2 years.
It's been amazing, just the education I've gotten and seeing how our journey started about learning about the importance of plant soil health, and realizing how important it is where we get our food, how we get our food, that it's not treated with chemicals, and just educating. We have the distinct honor and privilege of being connected with Kiss the Ground, and being educated by the founder himself and his father. And so just learning from them and hearing on sometimes a daily, if not weekly basis, of how regenerative farms need to come back, because really, and get back to how things used to be. Because if we look back years ago, we didn't have all the chemicals, and there wasn't all the sickness, and there wasn't the things we have now. But progress doesn't always mean better, and they were having to mass produce things, so that's why all the chemicals came and found. And then through our journey of learning about soil health, learning about the right foods, and why organics is so important. And then, like I mentioned, when I was talking to Taz and she told me it was organic, grown on regenerative farms, that was like, I didn't need any more information. I said, sign me up. And my husband was 100% on board, because those are so important. And I think that's just, I know, and what we learn on the Million Mom is how important soil health is. And that's why I love our products and our formulators and our founders, because they take that much care in making sure our products are on regenerative farms.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Thank you so much for touching on about that and your connection to Kiss the Ground, which is a documentary that you can find if you search it. Please do, on soil health and regenerative farming practices, which Purium is very proud to uphold. Talk a little bit. Let's close out with really the other testimonials you've found since experiencing this lifestyle with maybe your other family members and what products that you would recommend during this time period you were on the ULT.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the products I use, I found I am so glad we have Dark Berry got introduced to us back in October. And then Eric, who is one of our amazing leaders in Purium, was sharing about Kamut, and then Amy was sharing it too. So I tried it too. So I've added so many products because as we've learned, we get depleted of everything. And
Mhm.
so there's products I use and I use quite a bit and I love it. And I've replaced products, say like Pepto-Bismol, with our digestive enzymes and our biomedic. I've replaced having Advil with the apothecary and joint flex for achy pains. Was able to replace for my mom Bayer aspirin, which was making her sick and throwing up. And because of her heart issues and being 77, actually, happy birthday, Mom. She's in the room. It's her 77th birthday today. And she is on all our products. She takes we both take the Dark Berry and Power Shake. And of course the hair, skin, and nails. And one thing that I didn't touch on, but something that happens is our nails and our skin crack. Our nails can get really brittle during menopause. And with the hair, skin, and nails, my nails are really easy to cut. They don't get hard like they were once I started that. So I have a big list. So we take, of course, so that's our collagen support pack. So we take that. Take the Kamut at night or in the morning. It just adds an extra boost. I use Aloe Digest with my shake just to get that supportive health, and I put it in my water. It tastes really good with lemon. And to keep you hydrated and just for that all around health. And then we also use we use the dark greens because my mom really, with menopause, they either forget to eat or just don't get as hungry. So I love that. And I wanted to get her to feel, if you get them in a routine, depending on where the people are at in dementia and where she's at with her dementia, I can create a routine, get the powder, because they're in powder form. And she likes to have them with smoothies. So I prepare her organic fruit and put them in the freezer in little bags. And then I prepare her little jars with her Power Shake. She has the Power Shake, she has the Dark Berry protein, and I give her some Green Spectrum and Aloe Digest. And she gets to have that independence of making her own shake. And then she has 2 shakes a day and eats lunch. And she and at 77, she's also maintained her weight.
Wow.
And the doctors, and then with my husband, he was pre-diabetic and he had gone through another program to where he had lost a lot of weight, gained some back, but he has been able to manage his type 2 diabetes and cholesterol with just having the shake in the morning, and he adds the Power Shake, Green Spectrum, and the Kamut and Aloe Digest in his. And then he has we both take crack cell chlorella. We take the digestive enzymes, of course, the biomedic. I love the super aminos, and that really helps my mom too, in with our energy. Oh my gosh, there's so many that we take.
There's so many. It's great. No.
But they all have so many different benefits. And I think what I shared with you last night is having aches and pains too. And my husband actually broke one of his ribs. And because of his situation, he cannot take any narcotics or antibiotics. So he actually was able to help support his healing process with chiropractic and with just joint flex and apothecary 3 times a day, and no painkillers. So I mean, there's so many different stories that I have that how this has helped. And then after my daughter had her hysterectomy, had her tubes tied, she took the apothecary, and she has multiple sclerosis, and she would normally have a what we call episode, to where her muscles and joints and everything get really weak. It lasted for 2 days, which normally would last for 2 weeks, and she was taking the apothecary and joint flex 3 times a day, and was able to stabilize her after her surgery. So I mean, our stories of our amazing products, and just and what I told you last night is that I lived 52 years without Purium, and my mom says this as well. And I never want to live, and I never will live a day without it again, because I know my life before and I know how I feel after, and I really much prefer and love my afterlife after Purium. It's the best.
I love it. Oh, you're getting a lot of love here too in the community, and we love hearing your story. And guys, she has a nonprofit, and this nonprofit, she really does put her money into where her mouth is to support her community too. Do you want to just share on that?
On the nonprofit, I'd love to, because we're super excited. We live here in Vacaville, California, and my husband works on an organic farm, and we got just new owners the first of this year, and we've actually partnered with the farm with our nonprofit, and we're excited to do a lot of family events. And one thing our partners do is they actually have another nonprofit in Sacramento, California, that works with trauma that we've talked about, and getting off of alcohol and drugs. And I'm going to give a shout out to Dan, my amazing partner, who shared so many times about how he was able to get off drugs and alcohol with Purium. And so that's some things we get to introduce into this our new community. We get to do and help kids through trauma. We get to also do different events for disadvantaged families. And but how we started is we actually do a lot of work in Brazil as well. So that's just a little bit about, and it's called Be the Love. Love for you guys to check us out. We're going to be taking teams in October, and I'm going to put a shout out to some people who want to come with us in October. But it's amazing I get to feed off the education that I learn from Million Mom and from Purium and from our amazing leaders, and get to share it in our different communities here and in Brazil. And I know that with this future partnership, that it's going to even make a wider impact in being able to share about organic, clean health and supplements, and how that can really just change your life. And I always say from the inside out, because that's what it does.
Oh, thank you so much for that. Please put your information in the chat. We would love to have people know what you're up to and be participating in it if they can. Thank you, Anne.
Yes. Thank you.
And congratulations, Dan. All right. So I would love to move on to our council member, Michelle Ricci, who's got an incredible story herself as well. So we're wanting you to see some patterns happening here with this menopause story that happens. It's a very specific time in women's life. So Michelle, hers started, she's a mom of 1, and she has had her story with toxic trauma and her mold edition in our Million Mom Movement YouTube. So please take a look at that as well. And her story is so interesting because it was just along with a lot of other diagnoses that had happened because of toxic trauma. Menopause came up. So I'd love for you, Michelle, to share how it started, where you are now, and really, what does the future look like for you with aging?
I appreciate that. Thanks, Carmela, and happy anniversary. And Anjanette, I just never get tired of hearing you talk about all the things that you're up to, and you're positively glowing. So truly reversing aging. I mean, just big smile, high cheekbones, bright eyes, you could just see her really fully living the lifestyle. So after we talked today, Carmela, it occurred to me that when I was younger, I had a hysterectomy after my son was born because of some abnormalities. And I went through a phase of, it was a partial hysterectomy, so still kept my ovaries and to take my basal temperature and just try to understand when that really stopped. But it was actually a very mild transition. So when I was poisoned at the levels that I was poisoned at, nobody really knew what was going on with me. So I had over 36 diagnoses, and one of them was post-menopause, was peri-menopause, which I thought at first, how could that possibly be? I've already gone through menopause. So through the course of the year and a half that it took us to figure out my diagnoses, my menopause numbers were all over the board. So it was just fascinating because my body was going through a massive poisoning, trying to dump toxins, and every system in my body was dysregulated. So a blood test is a snapshot in time, in a day, in a moment, and it really doesn't tell the history. And as a consequence, I was put on all kinds of things. So it was menopause all over the place, but it was also Hashimoto's, Crohn's, IBS, IBD, fibromyalgia. I mean, the list goes on and on. And I didn't just wake up one day with these things, so I knew there had to be a root problem. When I finally introduced the nutrients into my life, and I would say prior to January of 2020, when I started on Purium, I was sleeping on towels every night. I was in a separate bedroom than my husband. There's just no way I could share a bed. By this time, I had photosensitivity and light sensitivity and audio sensitivity. And I was having hot flashes no matter what I put in my mouth. My skin was sagging. I was rapidly aging, basically. The toxic trauma put me into a rapid aging process. And so my body took me through what they thought was menopause as well. So if you were to look at me today, you might not know that I just celebrated my 53rd birthday. I just had my anniversary of 3 years on this protocol. I don't change temperature when I eat things. I don't sleep on a towel. I actually sleep really well. Everything is regulated. Prior to the nutrients, I was graying here. My body was shutting down. So it wasn't time to create pigment in my hair or even in my skin. I was bruising easily. My hair stopped growing at the base of my brainstem. I really was in a palliative care state. So what you're looking at today is a completely reverse aging. This is because of a change in my lifestyle and really getting the cleanest thing I could possibly find on this planet into my system and into my cells at the quickest rate that my cells would actually accept it and want it and crave it and take it and run with it. And so, yeah, so that's my story in a nutshell. And my eyes are the brightest they've ever been. I just noticed this last week since I got home from California. The 11s, I used to have real deep pockets here, and they're just gone.
That's amazing. I mean, so we had a conversation about this rapid aging, like toxic trauma experience of yours. And then now, like, you're in Ecuador, you're focusing on your lifestyle, your business with Purium and detoxifying, really creating the healthiest environment for you to continue to thrive. And you're at 53. So what Anjanette and you are talking about is not common. It is not what's being perpetuated at all. Like, we're meant to think of menopause and this stage as difficult, as just wait, it's coming, like it's going to be hot flashes, and everyone's sort of like waiting in this space. So talk a little bit more, because we had a really good talk about like the hair, and yes, you were talking about also the 11 lines, and really what you've personally seen, no one would ever expect or imagine it to be possible. So yeah,
I did a couple of things. My number one rule was to stop the toxins going in. So turning over every stone. Where am I leaking toxins into my body? Personal care, cleaning supplies, hair coloring, and just understanding what could I really control and what was I spending my money on? Because, you know, nutrients can seem expensive to live this lifestyle, but really it's expensive to try to cover up the dietary damage and the aging that is happening because of the things that you're spending money on that nobody cares what's going into your body. So when you take those reins back, when I took these reins back, my hair fell out at first. I got concerned, but it wasn't falling out. When I looked closer, there was so much new growth, and it was actually the sick hair falling out. My hair is long and curly, and you would not know that it stopped growing at the base of the brainstem or that I was gray here. It's healthy because I've rehabilitated my digestive tract, and I've really made it my life, made me and the business of me my life. And it's all I'll invest in. And it's everything that I will always be hyper vigilant about what I'm bringing into it. And it takes some unweaving. It takes some real unweaving and also belief. How do you get across the river of illness or aging or menopause is coming? You know, we have had men and doctors and a very antiquated medical system paint this picture for generations of like hysteria and menopause and covering it up and color your hair and make yourself look beautiful. That has nothing to do with the feminine ancestral voice of what is needed in this day and age. Like, it can be scary to stop coloring your hair. And you may take nutrients and your hair may still go gray, but it's going to be gorgeous and silver and beautiful and thick. And like, why? And this is FSH is not just women. We're talking about women today, but it's men too.
Yeah.
Why go through a midlife crisis? Like, we're just, like you said, we're all waiting for it. And I'm calling BS. I'm calling BS, and it's my mission. Everybody can have this. It shouldn't be in our community. This is the rule. This isn't the exception. In general society, I might be, oh, well, you're the exception, not the rule. Yep, for this antiquated system. But let's move into this new paradigm of the conscious collective, whereby caring for ourselves and caring about the people we share space with and our community and our space and building each other up and really just embracing ourselves and embracing each other, we're lifting the consciousness as a whole. So I'm like, I digress a little bit, but really we get to take the reins back and we get to become crones and sages and not have midlife crisis where everything has to crash and burn and blow up. We can elder. I want to elder. I'm eldering. I want to show you how to elder. Right?
Thank you so much for talking about these phases, because like I said, I'm right in that. And so many women are, you know, with all the fake, shiny, you know, just not real, inauthentic beauty images that are perpetuated. Our community really needs to hold the light. And thank you so much for talking about this phase of the crone. It's really important to elder others because we're teachers. We're all teachers here, and it's hard. It's not easy because we're against the grain. And Anjanette was talking about soil health and what is really hormonal disruptions. It's the lack and deficiencies of minerals and just the conductivity, because we do become a little more brittle or dry. So we just nourish. We have so many ways to balance the system. So
that's exactly it. It all comes back to gut health. And it can all be directly related to soil health. And our hormones are made there. If we can rehabilitate our digestive tract and give ourselves good information, all of the systems will come back online. Our body is designed to produce collagen and melatonin. cortisol and the things in the right ways. It's just, we can heal the gut and we can support all the systems coming back in line with that divine intelligence of the body. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful call today. Thank you, Carmela.
Oh, we're not done. We got another
Okay.
share. I'm so excited to also bring on this amazing mama of 3. Well, she'll tell you the story about the 3rd, but so Alexis Clark, she hails from Kentucky. She's one of the leaders in my team, and she's had just one of those Purium famous before and after photos, because when you see it, you'll know. It's just something that you know, you want to share because it's possible. So she's there with her baby. Alexis, you want to share?
wow.
She had suffered from PCOS initially, which is the most common endocrine problem with women worldwide, which is why I wanted to bring her on, because we're talking about women's health and really a story about long-term transformation that she went on. So
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a little nervous. I've never been in front of this many people that I knew of. So I'm really grateful to be here and see all of your beautiful faces. Michelle and Anjanette, I've not experienced you thus far in my journey, but I'm very grateful to know you now and hear how life-changing your experiences have been. That just, you know, reaffirms for me that I've absolutely continued to make the right choices, right? So let me just dive in. And I will say that we're weaning right now. So we're not the happiest baby. And also we decided to take a tumble down the stairs the day we started weaning. So we're not the happiest baby at all. So if we start fussing throughout it, just like act like it's part of the show, you know? So yeah, I'm 27 years old now, if you count that for anything. And when I was like 13, 14, I was having just really disgusting periods, like the heaviest flow you can imagine. I remember being like keeled over because I just felt like it was rupturing in there. You know what I mean? So it's just really rough. And that was at 13 or 14, right? And when you're a child, people don't really like either take you seriously or think that you're even telling the truth, you know? So I just had to suffer in silence for a majority of my life, until I got to about 19, 20. We started having miscarriages and we're like, why are we just not able to, you know, sustain this life? And we ended up having tests done. I didn't have competent doctors, so I never really got straight answers. I got a bunch of like nonsense ones that didn't really fit. Like they would just give me a paper, say, oh, here, this is what you have. And then I'd read the paper and like nothing on there matches. And now it says I'm going to have cancer. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, so that's just how it goes. Right. And so we finally got past, you know, what is it called? Vitality or something in pregnancy. I think, what is the word? I don't know. And basically we made it to 39 weeks with our first real pregnancy. And that ended up being a stillbirth, which is our son who will be 4 tomorrow, Michael James. So that just really flipped it upside down. I already knew that something was wrong with my body, but I didn't know like specifics and I didn't know how to fix it. And then all of a sudden, you know, you feel responsible. And so obviously there's trauma there, right? And
yeah.
then we have our son and I go back to actually hemorrhaged for like 6 months straight. I didn't not bleed. Like I was always going through like 4 maxi pads within like 3 hours. And like, that's not okay. You know, like that's too much. So obviously I had no energy and I didn't even feel like I was alive, you know? So we finally I decided, I was like, something's got to change. Like, I can't just keep bleeding. I'm eventually going to run out of blood. So I went to the doctor. I got a different doctor that was actually competent this time. And he, we did all the tests and he's like, yeah, you have PCOS, and that definitely could contribute to like the stillbirth happening, right? Because there's like all these correlations, right? But our stillbirth, we had no answers as to why it happened. I had gestational diabetes during his pregnancy, but it never seemed to be like dramatically dangerous to where they wanted to get him out early. So we just didn't have answers, and we had some answers, but not ones that would fix anything. I have always like had issues with releasing weight, like until I found Purium, honestly, because PCOS just wreaks havoc and it's impossible to get anything off when everything's so out of balance, right? So we become pregnant with Charles, and I made it through the pregnancy. He's here, vibrant, almost 2 years old. And once I had him, and I was like, okay, well, I've got an alive baby now, so that's awesome. But now I'm like, you could see in that picture, right? I was like 300 pounds and I was miserable. Like, I didn't want to be miserable. I just worked really hard to make sure this baby got here. So to not even be able to like run after him, I was over it, so fast forward to me being 300 pounds and ready for some kind of life-altering event. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I just knew I needed something to change everything, because everything I tried thus far, Weight Watchers, calorie counting, macro counting, all that stuff, like never resulted in me being alive the way I wanted to be. I was always just like a shell of myself. So my mom got my ultimate lifestyle transformation as a Christmas gift, like a New Year's gift, whatever, in 2021. And so that means I started it in 2022. And I, from the first stick, felt immediately healed. Like I was like, oh my God, something is actually working here. And it tasted like muffin mix. So I was like, the fat girl in me was really excited about that. I was like, I can drink this all day, right? I didn't even know what the purpose was behind all of it. I just had my trainer who was like, we just need to get this in you so that way it can bring you back to this balance that you feel like you've never even had, right? So I, over the last year, have lost 100 pounds. I've gone down 15 pant sizes. I'm not the same Alexis I was a year ago or like a year and a half ago. Like, I'm completely unrecognizable in every way, shape, and form. I have family who don't even recognize me now because I've changed everything. And it's because I put these superfoods, like you all said earlier, like, it's just taking everything good you can find and shoving it in there, because there's so much bad out there that we really can't avoid. We can avoid a majority of it when we do our best to try, but like, they sneak so much into everything. So unless you're really going to be very diligent, and when you have 3 kids and your brain is all over the place, like, it's really hard to be as diligent as you want. So I have absolutely, I shout from the heavens every day how incredible Purium is, how incredible the ultimate lifestyle transformation is. Like, I'm literally, it's my mission to find and bring these to everyone who doesn't know about them yet. So I hope that answered your question.
No, that was incredible. Share. Thank you, Alexis. You took us on a whole story journey, and that was so necessary for you to share all of those pieces. So, and it did start so much with diagnosing with hormonal balance, hormonal health, and just your health as a woman and mom. So thank you for touching us all. And can you just stay on and read our pledge? I would love for you to. I'll ask you to mute there, Alexis.
Did you say unmute?
Yeah, can you read our pledge?
Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I'm gonna like sob right here. I never thought this would be possible. I really thought that I was gonna stay miserable forever, and it's just beautiful to experience this. So, oh man, let me just gather myself real quick.
I feel the pledge triggers this in people, it seems.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was that first sentence. I was like, oh man, there it is. Okay. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. Anytime, man. Get it out of here. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations, and I'm committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement. Oh, man.
Thank you so much. You're incredible, and we all love you. Hang on just a moment. Okay. Oh, thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Angie. What an incredible call of shares for this topic of women's health. There's so many juicy, important stories that we need to be gathering around the campfire with. And this month with women's health is nothing short of all those things. Thank you for being with us. We are an activism group, so I'm going to close out with a call to action, and Eva is going to share with us how we can stay connected. And so call to action, what we usually do is we bring you to the detoxproject.org. Let me see if I can share my screen while I'm on this one. Give me a second.
This would be a great time for everyone to grab their phones, and we can do this together. So if you don't have your phone out already, go ahead and grab it.
Okay, well, all right, let me do this because I'm not able to share my screen while I'm on this one. So I'm going to take you to the detoxproject.org, which is a very important website. Henry Rollins, our dear friend with the Million Mom Movement. Oops, detoxproject.org, not .com, guys. Sometimes people do that. And there is a report called The Poison in Our Daily Bread. So this is how we source it. We go onto this page and go into the report. Now, this detailed report is a comprehensive glyphosate testing of food products conducted in the United States last year, and it was released to show how the true levels of our glyphosate weed killer contamination is in products that might even have the organic stamp on it. So what we have been doing is calling out companies and the manufacturers who carry them on their Instagram feed. And we have called out pretty much everybody so far on the list. And now we're at the stage of the non-detect. So the non-detect meaning that the level of which their glyphosate is as an ingredient in their products is safe. So you're safe to eat this list, this part of our list. Okay, so we went to Cliff. So a lot of you might already be purchasing this for your children or yourself for an energy boost when you're on a hike or when you're going out. There's snackable packaged products that it says non-GMO, but what's great is that they don't detect glyphosate. Just because it says it's not it's non-GMO does not mean that they're testing for the active ingredient Roundup, which is glyphosate. So what we do, I can't share my Instagram right now, but there is, if you go to Cliff Bar, CLIF on Instagram, and you go to their page, I already put my message in, my activism message into theirs, but it's their pin post with a gymnast girl. And the reason why I chose that particular post was because it was talking about young girls in sports. And this is Women's Health Month. So I wrote, thank you, Cliff, for choosing, sorry, I'm finding it again. Just moved up. Thank you, Cliff, for choosing clean ingredients. You were listed in the detoxproject.org in the report Poison in Our Daily Bread in the non-detect category for the toxic active ingredient in Roundup called glyphosate. It has been linked to all major disease in the country and celebrate you for taking a stand for quality nutrition. I'm on the council for the millionmommovement.info, and it's important to avoid this toxin for the future intention of our youth. So I'm going to post it into the official group, our Million Mom Movement official group, and Naiva's going to take us there. Okay. We'd love to stay in contact with you, and she's going to share a little bit about how we can stay in touch on our social media.
Thank you so much, Carmela. Incredible shares today. Thank you all for your incredible stories. I'm going to share with you how you can stay in touch with the Million Mom Movement. Each and every one of you here is a part of the Million Mom Movement. So thank you for being a part of our incredible community. And we'd love to invite you to like, follow, and subscribe to our different channels. So first, we have a Facebook page. We would love to invite you to like the page if you haven't already. That's where all of our everything that's posted on Instagram gets also posted to the Million Mom Movement page. It's also where the events are created for our weekly Fierce Fridays and Lunch and Learn. So you can always find the events there if you want to share them onto your page or into your stories. You can also join our Million Mom Movement official Facebook group, and that's where we will share the replay to this event today, as well as past replays, and all the resources that are shared here today are also shared in the comments of those posts with the replay. So please join that official group so you can have access to all of what we're sharing within our community. And we invite you to also share your own stories in there, share what's happening for you, share recipes, share things that you feel other moms should know about. This is a great group to just be a part of, and we invite you to share your wisdom in there as well. We'd also love for you to follow our Instagram page at the Million Mom Movement. You can tag our handle in your posts and also use these hashtags. We'd also, if you're on Twitter, please follow our Twitter page at Million Mom Movement. Everything that gets posted to Instagram also goes to Facebook and Twitter. So it goes on all accounts. And then lastly, we'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be the first to get notified when our replays are reposted, and for you to have access right away to everything that we have there. I also just want to take you really quick to our Instagram page and celebrate that we have over 5,000 followers. So thank you all for sharing this page, for sharing your wisdom, for being reposted, sharing stories or resharing stories that you've been tagged on. We really love having you as part of our community. And here is where we share resources, recipes, information about our scholarship and our family and community, but I especially wanted to bring your attention to our link tree. So I'm going to go ahead and open our link tree, and this is where everything is linked. And so often we get messages to the Million Mom Movement asking, where is the link to Fierce Friday? How can I find the YouTube? It's all right here. You can join the movement and take our pledge. You can find the link to Fierce Fridays, the second link down. Our YouTube channel is linked here. Our Sad to Rad flip book that we launched last month can be found right here, as well as our Million Mom Movement blog, scholarship information, recipes, and so much more. So I just wanted to share that and bring that to your attention because it's something that comes up often, and I want you to know where to find your resources. So thank you all for joining us here today. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to you, Carmela, to share what next week's event is.
Yes, thanks so much, Neva, for sharing. Yeah, we're at 5,000 and growing, and we'd love to have you bring a friend next week to our Fierce Friday. Our topic is actually that Neva is sharing, and it is business success, resizing the world's carbon footprint. How growing a business rooted in advocacy is really an important endeavor in this day and age, and business testimonials that are all about transforming the carbon footprint. So thank you all so much for being here and taking the time. And please share this YouTube replay on to a friend or a fellow family member who needs to hear these stories. Thank you all. Bye for now.